Is there a behavior or a trait that you've seen derail, more leaders' careers or affect them in negative ways?
Yes, I 100% believe that people who think that they're the smartest, people who think that they're the boss and that's why everybody should be listening to them, those are people who will not succeed as leaders. I've seen that again and again. People who put themselves first, think that they're the smartest person in the room. That just doesn't work. You end up with people with a team that's afraid to tell you the truth. You end up with culture of fear. So I believe in leaders who lead by permission. So be a humble leader and have your team follow you because they want to, not because they have to.
Also, it creates that psychological safety. So everyone feels that they can share their opinions and they are respected and valued in the workplace.
Yes, 100%. Psychological safety in a team is very important.
And you mentioned you've done a little bit of coaching. How did coaching impact your own, work, your leadership style, or any of those situations in life? Because a lot of people look at coaching or therapy as there's a stigma associated still with it.
Yeah.
I don't need therapy. I don't need coaching because it used to be coaching for performance, for compliance, like something was wrong with you. How do we change that frame of mind? Because coaching is powerful. You've gone through it yourself.
So I've never done therapy and I've only encountered coaching pretty late in my career. But when I have, I was blown away. So, and it just happened by complete chance. I went for a meeting with somebody who ended up being my coaching friend. But back then I went to meet him because I needed to have personality assessment for an important team member that I was going to hire. And in the back and forth in the conversation ahead of that, he asked me, so what is your goal? If we find you the best candidate 2 years from now, what will you say that's so great about it? So the fact that he framed it as, what's your goal? What are you trying to achieve? And now that we see what the goal is, let's go back and trace how do we get there, was so inspiring to me. I am not one to set far-reaching long-term goals. I don't know if this is, an Israeli thing. And I found myself using this question a lot in the following years. When somebody came to ask me for advice on something, should I do this? Should I do that? What's the goal? What are we trying to achieve? So I think that's one thing I got from the coach way of thinking.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's so great because it's important for us to keep in mind that goal rather than, just keep working here in that hamster wheel and not move anywhere in that direction that we want to be going. So it gives you that focus. It gives you momentum to keep going and understand why you want to go there as well.
Yes, for sure.
So speaking of goals, what are some goals that you are currently working on? How do you ensure that you continue to grow? What are you, I can see you're a big reader and you love reading, so what are you reading, listening, learning?
Yeah, I'm always in the middle of 3 books. So yes, I'm totally now in the middle of 3 books. I've been reading a lot of books by and about the Canadian Indigenous people. I'm now reading a book that's, it was hard for me to fall asleep last night because it's so powerful. I feel like, that's a topic I always wanted to know more about. And I have to say that what kind of sparked this year, I joined an organization, a group, a network called CEO, which is a network of women who are working together, supporting each other to make the world a better place. Part of that was also helping indigenous women get more access to funding, to business, to advice, to mentorship. So I'm really loving the inspiring people I'm meeting there on SheEO, and anybody who wants to know more about it, please reach out to me, because it's a brilliant and amazing network to join if you're a woman in the business world.
Such a great initiative. I have heard of them. Is there anything you'd like to share for women leaders, who are trying to climb up either in their corporate career, or start a business? Any advice there?
As a woman in a business setting, I know the most important thing that we can do is help our fellow women business women managers, frontline team members, help other women grow. Because I 100% believe that the more this becomes a norm, the easier it'll be. So I am sure that my kids grow up in a home where mom is actually the person making the most money. For them, this will be natural. But for other people, it's not. So I really think we all owe it to our fellow women to help support and push them, and especially women of color and indigenous women who are faring way worse.
How do you think we might be able to support indigenous women and women of color if we're thinking specifically in healthcare? I lately was hearing some stories that really made me angry about how healthcare system fails people of color. They come to the hospital and they're treated as if they came in to score drugs. This is horrible. So I think the most important thing is awareness. We need to continue to talk about it. This needs to be topic of discussion. And as part of my membership in SheEO, what I've been doing is buying from indigenous businesses. I bought my new exercise pants. They have beautiful indigenous art on them. Oh, wow.
Only I get to see it, but I try to make a point of buying from people who are struggling to make business work. Let's not buy from Amazon. Let's buy from our local small business. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
What advice, Miri, do you have for ambitious leaders who are looking to grow and aspire to one day be in your shoes?
I used to say that my first big steps in the world came from curiosity. When I started my career in real estate, I came with my bachelor's degree in chemistry. So I knew nothing. But I asked questions. I wanted to learn. I worked in the marketing department, but I really wanted to know. So when I send a check from the customer to the bookkeeping department, what do they do with it? How does the planning department take into consideration what we at marketing tell them, and how can we give them more feedback? So I was sticking my nose in everybody else's business and learning from other people. And I found that people love it. When you come to them and ask them about what they work in and what they're passionate about, don't be shy. Reach out to people, ask questions. You'll learn, you'll have a broader view of things. And that really helps in your career when you have a broader view, when you know more.